The story opens not with chaos, but with silence. We find Adaeze standing at the window of a fifth-floor apartment in Port Harcourt, watching the city move below her. Rain falls on the Niger Delta. Oil tankers sit in the distance like steel islands. She is dressed for work, hair pinned, badge clipped to her collar, but she has not moved in several minutes. She is calculating. Not math, not science. She is calculating her husband's mood. Chike does not shout. That is what makes him so dangerous. He speaks in low, measured tones. Whenever Adaeze asks for her salary alert to come to her own account, he looks at her and simply says, "Why would you need that?" The way a parent corrects a foolish child. The conversation ends before it begins. When Adaeze misses a company dinner because she had a fever, Chike does not argue. He simply stops speaking to her for 11 days. When she tries to call her younger sister Ngozi, he picks up the extension and waits, silently, breathing, until she says goodbye. He has never touched her in anger, but every part of Adaeze's life has been quietly dismantled, her friendships, her finances, her sense of what is normal, until there is nothing left but Chike, the apartment, and a job she is only allowed to keep because it makes him look good at company dinners. She has no one to tell. She has tried once. Her mother told her, "Every marriage has its difficulties. You must be patient." Her pastor said, "Pray for your husband." Her closest friend from university, the one Chike slowly made her drift from, would probably not recognize her voice anymore. So, Adaeze survives, quietly, invisibly. Then, one evening, everything shifts without warning. It begins with a professional forum, a climate and environmental science page on LinkedIn. Adaeze, who still reads academic papers in secret the way other people read novels, leaves a comment on an article about deep water pollution in the Niger Delta. Her comment is long, detailed, and quietly passionate. 2 days later, a message arrives. "I read your comment. It was more insightful than the article itself. I'm Dr. Leon Vos, climate researcher based in Amsterdam. Are you a scientist?" Adaeze stares at the message for a long time. She almost does not reply. But some small, stubborn fragment of who she used to be before Chike made her forget, makes her type back. "I trained as a marine biologist. I work in petroleum now." "A biologist trapped in petroleum. That must feel like a contradiction," he replies. She almost smiles. Their first conversations are entirely professional. Leon asks about the Delta ecosystem. Adaeze answers with precision she has not used in years. He sends her papers. She responds with observations from fieldwork she did in her final university year, data she has carried in her head for 7 years with nowhere to put it. He listens, not performatively, like the way people nod while waiting to speak, but genuinely. He asks follow-up questions. He references things she said 3 messages ago. No one has paid attention to her thoughts in so long that the sensation is almost physical, like blood returning to a limb that fell asleep. But Adaeze is careful. She tells him nothing about Chike, nothing about the apartment, the silence, the controlled money, the watched phone calls. She is simply a woman who loves the ocean and ended up behind a desk. Months pass. The season changes from heavy rain to harmattan. The conversations deepen. One night, after Chike has gone through her phone while she slept, and she has lain awake in the dark for 3 hours staring at the ceiling, she opens her laptop and sends Leon a message. "Do you ever feel like you built a life that doesn't belong to you?" Leon does not respond immediately. When he does, 20 minutes later, the message is careful. "I want to ask you something, and I need you to be honest. Are you safe?" She has been asked this question before, by a clinic nurse once, after a physical where bruises would have been visible if there had been bruises. But there are never bruises with Chike, just disappearances, just erasure. This time, Adaeze tells the truth. Not everything, but enough. She tells him about the silence, the money, the watched phone calls, the way she is slowly being made smaller. Leon responds, "What you are describing has a name, and it is not a difficult marriage, it is abuse." Adaeze cries silently in the dark for reasons she cannot fully explain. Over the following weeks, Leon becomes her anchor. He calls every evening 5 minutes before Chike usually returns home and sends a message every morning before she reaches the office. He sends her books, real books delivered to her work address, not home. He is careful. He pays attention to logistics. He asks her never to call him from her primary phone number. He sends money twice. She tries to refuse both times. "It is not charity," he writes. "It is solidarity. Put it somewhere Chike cannot see." She does. A second account, her first private possession in 4 years. Then comes the night that changes everything. Chike has scheduled a company dinner for them both. Adaeze is to be present, dressed appropriately, to stand beside him and smile at his colleagues. But that afternoon, Adaeze finds something. It is not dramatic. It is a document accidentally left open on the shared home computer. A property agreement, Chike's name, his cousin's name, and a third party. A property that should have been registered in both names. That was agreed. That was a condition of their marriage, the only financial protection her family negotiated. It has been transferred, quietly, legally, without her signature, though her signature appears on it. Adaeze sits in the chair and understands fully and finally what she already knew. He has been preparing for a future in which she doesn't exist, not a future where she leaves, a future where she simply has nothing left. She does not go to the dinner. When Chike returns alone and finds her sitting in the dark, he looks at her for a long time. Then he walks to the bedroom, closes the door, and the silence is worse than anything he has ever said. That night, she messages Leon. "I found something. I think I have been more in danger than I understood." Leon calls immediately. They speak for a long time. At the end of the call, he says, "Adaeze, I have been building toward asking you something. I did not want to push, but I cannot stay quiet now. I am coordinating a marine research project in Amsterdam next year, a real one with the EU Environment Fund. I want to formally invite you as a contributor. It would require a research visa. I can handle the sponsorship documentation from this end. It is real, it is legitimate, and it would get you out." Adaeze is quiet for a long time. "Why are you doing this?" she finally asks. "Because," he says simply, "you should not have to disappear to survive." She lies awake all night, but by morning she has made a decision. The process takes 4 months. Leon handles the research institute paperwork, the invitation letter, the visa application, the employment verification for the project. Adaeze handles her side with quiet precision. She is a scientist, and she approaches escape the way she would approach a controlled experiment. Every step documented, every contingency planned. She tells no one. Chike notices nothing. He notices what he chooses to notice, and right now he is involved in a new business arrangement, and his attention is occupied. Adaeze moves through the household like a shadow, cooperative, quiet, small. She becomes even easier to overlook than usual. The visa comes on a Tuesday. The flight is booked for the following Friday. Chike believes she is attending a 3-day professional development seminar in Abuja, approved by her company, because she arranged it that way, because she used the competence that 4 years of controlled living never fully extinguished. On Thursday night, she packs 1 bag. She takes her degrees, her professional licenses, the second bank card, a photograph of her parents on their wedding day. Nothing that Chike chose for her. She does not look at the apartment for very long. The flight lands in Amsterdam on a grey Friday morning. The sky is the color of polished tin. The air tastes like winter and water. Leon is at the arrivals gate, holding a printed card with her name. He is tall, silver-haired at the temples, with reading glasses pushed up on his forehead. He looks exactly like his profile photographs. He smiles when he sees her, genuinely, or so it seems. He says, "Welcome to a new chapter." Something in Adaeze releases, a tension she has held in her chest for 4 years, and for a moment, just a moment, she lets herself believe it. They drive through the city. He points out the canals, tells her about the research project, talks about the team. His apartment is in a quiet residential building on the western edge of the city. They take the elevator to the 4th floor. He unlocks the door and gestures her inside. And that is when Adaeze notices. She is a scientist. She observes. The apartment is warm. The furnishings are precise and expensive. There is wine on the counter and fresh flowers on the table. Everything looks prepared. Too prepared. Not for someone arriving, for someone arriving and staying. There are no personal photographs anywhere, not one. No books with broken spines, no evidence of a person living here. Only a stage dressed to suggest one. And the windows. She counts them automatically. 1 in the kitchen, 1 in the hallway. None in the living room where she is standing. The front door has 3 separate locks. She counts those too. Leon moves to the kitchen to pour water. "Rest tonight," he says. "We can talk about the project tomorrow. I want you to feel at home." Adaeze nods and smiles. But as she stands in that too perfect, too prepared windowless room with the 3 locks on the door behind her, the word home arrives in her chest like cold water. Something is wrong. She does not know yet what, but Adaeze is a marine biologist. She spent her education studying what lives beneath beautiful surfaces. She knows, better than most people, that the most dangerous waters are often the calmest. That night, she lies in the guest bedroom with her eyes open, listening. And somewhere deep in her scientist's mind, a single thought forms. I need to understand what I have walked into before it closes around me. Subscribe for part 2.